It should be rolling. I think we're recording. We're recording.
Okay.
This is live. All live, guys. Woo!
Hey, guys on YouTube. This is Cole's here doing a deck profile for the channel. It looks really weird because
hello YouTube.
we were in the pool and stuff.
It was shenanigans.
I'm doing this right after we dueled. Also, yeah, after we dueled, that was a good duel. Probably gonna cut apart those decks actually to make a different deck, because besides this deck that I'm doing right now,
so
this is gonna be the last one. Besides, if I do any cutting of the god decks.
See what the deck is.
Yeah, this deck is called Spacial Aggro. I'm combining TCG and OCG, so all the people who really want, who think that there's gonna be a lot of standard things in this, there's not, because there's a bit of English in it, because I don't have any things I could stick in it, and it's 50 cards, so it's not OCG, kind of built like that. But yeah, let's just get to the duel. Last deck for Duel Masters.
Right.
Okay, let's start off with Psychic deck. I have all 8 slots filled. It's just 3 of them are proxied off. I'll name them off who they are right after I tell you these. Okay, first I got Gaga, Packun, I think. I do have, and also Geo Man, which is the first proxy, and this is for against anti-tech for the other opponent.
Anti-tech.
And the other, and Geo Man is mainly for getting mana down, but I have gotten the big psychic creature out once or twice. Now I have Boost for another psychic creature to get out those wimpy little creatures that cost less than 3,000. And yeah, I never get out the bat creature, so yeah.
He's just fun to play. Get out.
He's just good to get out.
Yeah.
And next I have Gaial Kaiser, which is he's good for taking 2 shields and possibly killing something with 5,000 or less. But yeah, that's mainly what he's for. Also can't get out the back. Next we have the last 2 real cards that I have. I do get these out quite often to stall my opponent. I would get out this part most of the time, but I do get out these 2 so it doesn't bounce, and that's basically what they're for. And I do have the proxies of the last 2. It's Victorious Gaial Kaiser and Victorious Meteor Kaiser. Victoria Gaial Kaiser. Victoria Gaial Kaiser for taking out weak creatures less than 5,000 since he's speed attacker, and the other and Victorious Meteor Kaiser for the anti-tech against the opponent. Yeah. So that's it for the psychic creatures. Here comes the spells, of course, the hyperspatial spells that the deck kind of depends on. First we have 4 copies of Hyperspatial Shooting Hole, 2 copies of Hyperspatial Shiny Hole, 2 copies of Hyperspatial Faerie Hole, and 1 copy of Hyperspatial Bullshack Hole. Now, Bullshack Hole I only use so often, but it does get out the Boost and those other 2.
Fire.
These 2. I do get out the back sometimes, by the way, about that. But Fairy, of course, for mana and shooting for tap. And also getting out Gaga and Geo Man and others. Anyways, done with hyperspatial spells. Now let's move on to the regular part of the deck. Even though that was. Let's start with nature spells. 1 rolling Snowman. It's kind of teched in because it gets monsters, but you don't need monsters as much. You just need key monsters that you don't want to run out of, that you've already put in mana. It's pretty good for that purpose.
Man, it looks like you got big hands in this.
Next we have Mana Nexus, because sometimes this deck falls behind the opponent and you just need that extra shield. And you have it in your mana zone. Next we have 2 copies of Natural Snare. I was going to put it to 3, but I ran out of sleeves. Probably going to take something out for the 3rd one, but it's fine like it is. It usually gets things. Next, for kind of a standard thing also, 4 copies of Essence Health. Get them spells down. And then we got 3 copies of Bronze Arm because 4 is just too much. 3 is just a fine number. And then we have some not very standard thing, but because I need some creature search, I got Rumbling Terrahorn because he's a good body and he's a good search, and it's the only thing I have for that that does that. And next we have a Tecton Dimension Horn. Dimension Horn does work a lot, even though he's kind of a high cost, and the fact that he's a creature, not a spell. You can stack up a lot of mana with Fairy Holes and Bronze Arm, sending things. Okay. With all that mana, and then you just tap it, and you can get pretty much most things.
I enjoy it quite a bit.
It works. And that's it for the nature section. Next we have our light section. We have 1 Tecton, not Tect, it helps the deck out. It's Tulk Spirit Reel. Take a spell from your graveyard and put it on top of your deck. It really works fine because you don't lose it to discard your whatever you got. Yeah, it's really good for that reason. And it gets spells back. And then we have our Logics to get all them spells that you don't have in our hand that we need. And we have 2 Logic Sparks and 1 DNA Spark. Don't pay attention to its holy awe. I'm going to put DNA Spark in because it's way better than any kind of holy whatever.
Holy shenanigans,
Holy shenanigans, yeah. And for like some wimpy blocker, we have Emerald Grass because he actually helps out like when you don't want your Emerald Grass being killed or whatever.
Emerald Grass is a shit, man.
And then we have 2 copies of the Machine King Bow, I think is Baula, I think his name, to get all those spells back to your hands, and it really is good body and blocker for the deck. And we now have 3 Magris Vizier Magnetism, mainly because I don't have Gaga Pikarum. I think it's Gaga. I'm pretty sure it is. But for that draw power, because you don't have much draw in this deck. And for the last of the light creatures, we have 3 copies of Kolon, the Oracle, because it's good for a TCG card, and it's good tap, and it provides body for those kits. Okay, next we have Fire Civilization. There's not much. There's just spells. I was thinking about putting Apocalypse Vice, but there's no room, I guess. But let's start out. 2 Phantom Dragon Flames, 2 Health Scrapper, and 1 Super Foaming Health Scrapper. It just helps with all the killing, and let the killing commence. And yeah, Apocalypse Vice could help since as a TCG it is good. It is but it's not very.
It's not standard.
It's not standard.
It's not run.
And
much.
It's
not consistent either. It really isn't.
It really isn't. It's only good for late game, and some games don't even go to late game.
But it is a nice tech, though.
It is. It would be good, nice tech. We have some not standard things, but for body, because not a lot of things can hit over things in this deck. I have 2 Gontas, mainly for that reason, and then I have 2 Wind Axes for some more blocker destruction, because you always want that, and then 1 standard little starter dash to get those creatures in the mana zone. It really is pretty good, because I can't tell how much good it usually does when it hits the field, because your opponent usually has a few 5s out when you summon him. And sending those to the mana zone, just getting them out of the way, always helps. But yeah,
That's the deck, guys.
that's the deck.
Subscribe.
I don't think there's.
I don't think you get that.
If you watched this, thanks. If you didn't, don't. But if you did and you liked it, you could
Put down a like
if you wanted to.
if you want to. It's whatever, really.
Really.
You don't have to.
You really don't.
you
But
can.
if you watch this, thank you, because I love you and I want to have rape your mom. Okay, I'm not that serious about raping your mom.
But
This is the
You
deck.
don't have to.
Anyway,
And
both of
one of the last decks, possibly. And for Duel Masters, since Kaijudo is coming up for us Americans,
us Americans.
so I'm probably gonna switch over this channel to that and possibly do more decks for Duel Masters. The only ones I could think of is possibly a deck on Volcadius, because I just love Volcadius.
Sex.
Actually, I think you better subscribe.
Yeah. You just better subscribe, yeah, honestly.
With that 7 subscriber.
That's 7 subscribers, you know how we are.
But yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.
Thank you guys.